Bismillah, Rahman Rahim. Ever seeking refuge from the accursed one, and give him perfect praises to Allah, Mother, Father, God of the universe, and honor all true and divine prophets, seen, unseen, known, unknown, and reincarnated, and to illustrious Hebrew prophets in these days and time, Prophet Noble Draw Life, our Redeemer and One. Also giving honors to our National Grand Sheikh General Bretton Bay, and our officials in Baltimore and other republics. Our sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, our children, newly naturalized Moors, friends, guests, visitors on the call. Shout out to Marcus Messiah, God, the Forerunner, Harbinger, and to the ancient spirit that guide us through these turbulent times. We all in love with Islam. Let me see Makam Shir from the Empire State, giving thanks to all of one of the day. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. The Holy Creation Day to all. And at this time, asking all who are able to stand in our Moorish American posture, feet at a 45-degree angle, arms in the air, 5 fingers on the left side, 2 fingers on the right, keeping them tight. Islam, Allah, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day. We told the Prophet, through our lives. Amen. Islam, welcome all on the call. This time, as we proceed with our divine constitution and bylaws. Crescent and star of salvation, all seeing eyes of Allah, and Press of Unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, designed the divine constitution and bylaws by Prophet Noble Jalai, founder. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs of the lips according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 on love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse faulty his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws And all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live your life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these men were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a no era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live, and the nation of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble U.S.A, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of these ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all of the acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, noble through our life, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Here is the meaning of our divine constitution and bylaws, and they will proceed with the reading of the additional laws from Moorish Americans by Prophet Noble to Allah. Act 1. Grand Sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble to Allah or acted upon by the members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc. for members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under every restriction, etc. by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their other meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, they'll be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, they will be fined $1, which will go on the emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly due must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy, because of lifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertions against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses, who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. That they must know that they are a part and parcel of this said government and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nation of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained to overthrow our life, the Prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all of the tenets of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother in the industrious and become part of the uplifting of one man. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from a holy prophet, noble to Allah, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Here is the reading of our divine constitution and bylaws and additional laws. Islam, 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 Islam. Islam was praying all is well with everyone. And at this time, we will do a check-in.
Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh, all is well.
All is well, Brother Great Bay. How you doing today?
All is well. I can't complain. Good to hear your vibrations.
Islam, Islam.
Islam. Islam family. This is Brother Mainstream Gray Bay 44, calling out of Massachusetts Commonwealth. Just like to wish all the Moors on the call and off the call happy holy day, holy night, Islam, and peace.
Welcome, Brother Great Bay. Peace and love. Happy holy creation. Islam was. Hey, Bay. Just man there on the call today, boy?
Islam, we have 9 participants, well, including you and myself.
Islam was. Anyone wish to identify themselves?
Islam?
Islam, Islam, Islam. Deputy Sheikh Cook. Bay. Islam?
Islam, Deputy Sheikh. Trust in Allah is well and tranquil.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Islam. Holy Emmanuel, there?
Yes. Very peaceful. Giving thanks.
Shukran.
Yes. Yes. This is Brother Cook Bay calling the Florida Republic, Deputy Sheikh. Wishing all the Moors, east, west, north, and south. Bless the holy day, bless the holy night. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Giving thanks. Bless.
Islam, or welcome to our holy day called Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh.
Islam, Islam, Brother Jazil. How are you?
All is well. All is well. And yourself?
Peaceful, more. My mind been on the eye for a minute. How is your family member that had the issue there? All is well with that, brother?
Everything is fine. All is well.
Holy Emmanuel, yes. Wanted to reach out to you, but didn't get the chance. But Islam, got to do that now. Give thanks to Allah for keeping all the family safe. Peace.
Yes.
Welcome.
Just want to wish all the Moors on the grid tonight a happy holy night, and all the Moors around the world. All the Moors of the Moorish Science Temple, happy holy night, Shabbat Shalom.
Islam. Welcome, Brother Giorgio. Islam, Moors. Anyone else would like to let us know who else with us, Moors, on the call? If not, we will proceed in the reading of our Duas Shabbat Shalom prayer that we proceed before we read our chapter. Islam, Brother Giorgio, would you do us the honors? Islam,
Islam, Deputy Sheikh.
Islam, brother, you have the floor.
Sorry about that. I thought I unmute myself, but I didn't. Sorry about that.
That is right. You have the floor, brother.
Islam, Moors. I am Brother Georgia from Quebec Republic, Canaan land. I will be reading the Holy Night Prayer. Praise Allah. Following our Prophet Noble Jew Ali to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown, we are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam, as I rise to my highest height, giving all honors and perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God, Allah, the Father of the universe, and to all the divine prophets, beginning with Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and in these last days and time, our divine and honorable Prophet, Noble Jew Ali in the first, second, and third form. I give honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown. I give honors to our National Grand Chief of the Moorish Science Temple, number 13, Baltimore, Maryland, Joel Broughton Bay. I extend my honors to all sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikh, deputy sheikesses, all family, friends, visitors, members, students, and all who is not here with us today. I say Islam and happy holy night. Bringing in during the Sabbath, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. O Most High, Thou the Creator of all there is, Thus the All of Life, the Omniscient, the All-Providing, the All of Love, we come to Thee this Sabbath Eve, grateful for Your imbuing us with the radiant substance of health these 7 days past, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our living. We thank Thee for the blessings of divine substance of wealth flowing into our lives these 7 days past. filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank you for all these blessings, and we bless thy name and worship thee and thee alone. We bless the creation past and pray thou wilt find our deeds, our work, our service to thee approving in thy sight. By your grace, we love thee, we love thee, we love thee, O Most High. We bless the creation, yet manifesting, thanking thee for the breath of life and the radiant substance of health permeating our being, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our lives. Ever praying that our deeds, our work, our service to thee in this creation will be found approving in thy sight. Inshallah. We thank thee for the flow of divine substance of wealth, this creation, filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank you. Truly without thee, the all-providing, we are lost. And with thee, the omnipotent, the victory is ever ours. We thank you for your indwelling spirit speaking and directing us to our best and highest good. May we ever hear your voice, heed your words, and manifest your will. May our hearts ever know thy presence, our mind overflow with thy thoughts, our eyes see thy divinity, our mouth speak thy words, our hands accomplish thy work, our feet walk thy path. We thank you for the wisdom to know thy will, the fortitude to manifest thy will, the perseverance to persist in thy way until thy will be done. We love and thank you, Divine One. We love and thank you for every opportunity to serve thee, to accomplish thy will be done. May thy indwelling spirit guide and protect us, this creation, as we build and manifest thy divine estate in the living now. Giving thanks and praises to thee and thee alone. We love thee. We love thee. We love thee. O Most High. Amen. Ashe. Amunra. Shila. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And this is the conclusion of our Holy Night prayer. I now return the floor to our Deputy Sheikh. Islam.
Islam. Give thanks for that beautiful read. All praises go to Allah. And all He bless us with. Yes, and may Allah bless the reading of our divine constitution and bylaws, our additional law, and our Shabbat Shalom prayer. And as we proceed, is anyone that joined us while our Shabbat Shalom prayer was being read, or anyone like to identify themselves? Let us know who our brothers and sisters are. Islam.
Islam. This is Jermaine Fowler, calling out of New Jersey Republic. All the Moors and Moslems across the world. Happy Holy Night. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. For all.
Welcome, Brother Paula.
Islam?
Islam, Islam,
Islam?
Islam.
Islam, Deputy Sheik, all is well?
All is well, Brother Herbenzil. We love it. How are you today?
Islam, good brother. This is Brother Hermzel calling out of the Washington State Republic. I'd like to tell all the Moors, all the Moabites, all the Muslims around the world, no matter where they may be, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and I yield the floor. Islam.
Welcome, Brother Herbenzil. Welcome, welcome. Shabbat Shalom to you as well. Vamos.
Islam, Deputy Sheik. We have 13 participants on the line. Islam.
Islam, Brother Mo.
14 now.
Islam.
Islamism.
Islam Deputy Sheik, all is well.
All is well. What about the eye?
All is truly well, my brother. This is Brother Levio and the family out of Louisiana Republic. Just saying happy holy night to all the Moors. Moabites on the call. Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Alaikum. Peace.
Welcome, Salam. Welcome, Brother Levi and family. Islam. If there's no one else wanting to share who is with us, we'll proceed in our chapter of the night. I think we're on chapter 4, correct? Islam?
Islam, you're correct.
Islam. Chapter 4, Death and Burial of Elizabeth. Martino's lesson, the ministry of death. Proceed, I think there is some text correct that need to be known, if not known already, but just for knowing sake right now, we'll share. Chapter 13, the word become is changed to became. Become changes to became. Verse 29, add the word not behind the word rested. So insert the word not between rested and until, reading they rested not until they reached the temple of Saqqara. Islam. And we have a reader. Would you like to read this chapter, Islam?
Islam, Deputy Sheik.
Islam, Brother Herbenzil. Good, thanks. You have the flow.
Islam, that other chapter that you were referring to, was it chapter 23? Verse 23?
Oh, 29. Verse 29, chapter 4.
Rested instead of rest?
No. Insert the word not, N-O-T, in between rested and until. Reading, they rested not until they reached the temple of Saqqara.
Islam, thank you, Deputy Sheik, for that. This is Brother Hermzel. Islam. This is Brother Hermzel calling out of the Washington State Republic. First and foremost, I'd like to rise to my highest of heights and give all perfect praise to our great Mother, Father, God of the universe, known as Allah.
I'd like to remain standing and extend those honors to all true and divine prophets, naming Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last Hebrew prophet of these days and times, our illustrious noble U.A.A in his first, second, and third form. I'd like to remain standing and extend those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joe Bad Bey, all of our national officials, our sheikhs, our sheikesses, our deputy sheikhs, our deputy sheikesses, and all our members and the public that joins us on the call tonight. I greet you all with Islam. I'll be reading chapter 4, page 8, Death and Burial of Elizabeth Matheno's Lesson, The Ministry of Death. When John was 12 years old, his mother died, and neighbors laid her body in the tomb among her kindred in the Hebron burying ground, and near the Zachariah's tomb. And John was deeply grieved. He wept. Matheno said, "It is not well to weep because of death. Death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the works of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth, that it may sail on smoother seas. No language can describe a mother's work, and yours was tried and true, but she was not called hence until her task was done. The cause of death are always for the best, for we are solving problems there as well as here. And one is sure to find himself where he can solve his problems best. It is selfishness that makes one wish to call again to death departed souls. Then let your mother rest in peace. Just let her noble life be strengthened and an inspiration unto you. A crisis in your life has come, and you must have a clear conception of the works that you are called to do. The sages of the ages call you harbinger. The prophet looks to you and say, he is Elijah come again. Your mission here is that of a harbinger, for you will go before the Messiah's face and pave his way and make the people ready to receive their king. This readiness is purity of heart. None but the pure of heart can recognize the king. To teach man to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart and work and deeds. In infancy, the vow for you was made, and you became a Nazarite. The razor shall not touch your face nor head, and you shall not taste wine nor fiery drinks. Men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. The man who stands upon the corners of the path and point the way, but does not go, is just a pointer. And a block of wood can do the same. The teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, he leavens his footprint clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. Men comprehend the inner life by what they see and do. They come to Allah through ceremonies and forms. And so when they would make men know that sin are washed away by purity in life, a rite symbolic may be introduced. In water, wash the bodies of the people who would turn away from sin and strive for purity in life. This rite is cleansing. This rite of cleansing is a preparation rite, and they who thus are cleansed compromise the temple of purity. Pardon self. Let me read that again. This rite of cleansing is a preparation rite, and they who thus are cleansed comprise the temple of purity. And you shall say, you men of Israel, Hear, reform, and wash. Become the sons of purity, and you shall be forgiven. This rite of cleansing and this temple are but symbolic of the soul, which is not come with outward show, but is the temple within. Now, you may never point the way and tell the multitudes to do what you have never done, but you must go before and show the way. You are to teach that men must wash, so you must lead the way. Your body must be washed, symbolic of cleansing of the soul. John said, "Why need I wait? May I not go at once and wash?" Matheno said, "'Tis well." And they went down to the Jordan ford and east of Jericho, just where the host of Israel crossed when first he entered Canaan. They tarried for a time. Matheno taught the harbinger, and he explained to him the inner meaning of the cleansing rite and how to wash himself and how to wash the multitudes. And in the river Jordan, John was washed. Then they returned unto the wilderness. Now, in Engedi hills, Matheno work was done, and he and John went down to Egypt. They rested not until they reached the temple of Saqqara in the valley of the Nile. For many years, Matheno was a master in the temple of the Brotherhood. And when he told about his life of John and of his mission to the sons of men, the Hierophant with joy received the harbinger, and he was called the Brother Nazarite. For 18 years, John lived and wrought within these temples, within these temple gates. And here conquered self, became a mastermind, and learned the duties of the harbinger, Islam. And I yield the floor back to the moderator. Peace.
Islam. Give thanks for that diligent read. Beautiful chapter on the ministry of death and burial of Elizabeth. Matheno's lesson. Yes, these lessons we must learn. All right, boys. Gonna go into these commentaries on this chapter as we go. Chapter 4 is a synopsis of humanity's sojourn on the earth plane, with verses 2 through 4 sharing divine perspective on the eventuality of death, so called. Beginning with the axiom, it is not well to weep because of death, helping us to comprehend the natural progression of this process of living, which results in the separation of soul from body, commonly called death. We must be mindful that weeping is an ensign of sorrow, as well as an act of selfishness. So we weep at our personal reality of no longer being able to full enjoy the presence of the soul departed. Now that weeping through the agency of love prolongs the soul's presence here, the entity responds to the sorrow, seeking to console the weeper. Perhaps this is the origin of the second line. During verses 8 through 12, Yahya, the Baptist, is charged with his mission. His charge being explained to him in verses 13 through 24, verses 5 and 26, Yahya, John the Baptist, receives and accepts his charge, asking to begin his learning and mission immediately. From verse 27 to the end, verse 31, Yahya the Baptist receives his first lesson as the harbinger. Marceno explaining to Yahya the inner meaning of the cleansing rite, how to wash himself and the multitude. The harbinger is then being washed. Marceno takes Yahya to the temple of Saqqara and petitions Yahya's acceptance as a student in the Brotherhood in Kemet, Egypt. Yahya, as John the Baptist, is admitted with joy. Reference keys 95 and 96, Act 7. Spiritual references Numbers 6, 22 to 26 explains the vow of the Nazarite. Both Yashua and Yahya were consecrated as Nazarites. Right about our discuss, locate the temple of Saqqara on a map. Reference the washing of Yahya in water to Act 7 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. All Moorish Americans must keep their bodies clean with water. This includes gus, wudu, istinja in the Islamic tradition. Also, the bathing of the entire body, wudu, the ablation of parts of the body using water or clean earth when water is not available. Neither a shower or bath, but prescribed manner of washing the appendices. As both gus and wudu relate to salat, they are voided upon fasting guests, toileting, or sexual activity. Ghusl and must be performed again prior to making salat. Istinja, the complete full rinsing of the genitals, and with clean water after urinating and defecating. This is extremely important for a speck drop of urine or feces on your person or garb invalidates your salat, your prayer. In verse 31, reference emphasize and discuss the words wrought and conquered, as well as the phrases became a mastermind and learned the duties of the harbinger. What is the metaphysical name for the cord that binds the human both to earth? What is meant by the phrase human boat? Islam, here ends the commentary on the chapter. And opening the floor for any comments or expression of the 5 senses on the chapter or anything that's on our minds tonight. But just want to point out a few verses that kind of stands out to the mission Yahya John was on. And before I go there, I want to put this on the floor. coming from verse 16, where it says, the teacher treads the way. On every span of ground he leaves his footprints clearly cut, which can be seen and be assured that he, their master, went that way. So that's a question to ponder, and being as our prophet is our teacher, our redeemer, and has truly left his footprints clearly. These footprints, what can we associate these footprints to prove that he went that way? Islam, just to ponder. And verse 3, 4, and 5. I just want to say a thing about that. Yes, as these chapters teaches us that man is not flesh and blood, but spirit, and a spirit. Time never was when man was not. So it reads in chapter 4, verse 3, death is no enemy of man, it is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth, that it may sail on smoother seas. And it speak about, verse 4 speak about, no language can describe a mother's worth. And his mother was tried and true. So he had a foundation that was solid in teaching him what he had to do within his mission. 5, it says, the death are always for the best. For we are solving problems there as well as here. And one is sure to find himself where we can solve his problem best. And as we know that it is said that before our prophet returned to the plane of soul, he said he could better help us on that plane. So let's put in some vibration across more than open up the floor. Islam. Anyone want to exercise the five senses? Islam. So it's now open. Chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Last paragraph says man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the seed will have fully opened out, will have unfold in the holy breath. The garb of soul will yield. Observe its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore, and it will pass away, and it will pass, Allah, and be no more. And man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and be at one with Allah. So the creation and the fall of man, it paints the story of a fall and a getting up a redemption from that fault. So, as chapter 4 is a lesson, it's a lesson in continuance. Islam was.
Islam?
Islam.
Can I be heard?
Islam, Brother Douglas. How are you today, sir?
Islam, I'm doing well.
Shabbat Shalom. Holy Emmanuel, you have the floor.
Islam, I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving all praises to Allah, all ancestors, both known and unknown, to all divine prophets, namely Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and our last prophet in these days, in time, Noble Drew Ali, in the first, second, and third form. I want to remain standing and give thanks and acknowledgement to all officials, sheikh, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, members, guests, and students of the Moorish School of Law, and everyone on this call who are under the guidance of our National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey. I just want to say greetings, Shabbat Shalom to each and every one. Just to comment briefly on the chapter. It's a beautiful read. I came on the call a little bit late, so my apologies for hearing and grasping everything, but I've gone through the chapter, and one of the things that stood out, even as you were speaking specifically concerning man being the spirit as opposed to being the body, especially with the great missionary call of Noble Drew Ali, which is the upliftment of fallen humanity. Unfortunately, for many of us who have been exposed to the Christian paradigm, there's much confusion as to the truth as to who and what we really are, from the perspective of most people are taught to get something in heaven when they die, as opposed to understanding that we have both a divine right, or divine birthright, as well as a salvation here. So in other words, we have both a salvation, heavenly salvation, and an earthly salvation, as opposed to mankind who only have a earthly salvation. So that breakdown in differentiating between the spirit and the physical form that we were all poured into, and knowing that it is the physical aspect of man, his lower self, that fell, is a very profound thing. And when I think about John the Baptist, of course, it brings us back to Marcus Garvey, who prepared the way for Noble Drew Ali. But even in starting towards the end of this chapter, mentioned in verse 31, for 18 years John lived and wrought within these temples' gates, and here he conquered self, became a mastermind, and learned the duties of the hamburger. And I see it twofold, in the sense of when it says know thyself and Allah. Interestingly enough, in our authority, the word Ali, as in referring to Noble Drew Ali, is A-L-L-I. And I've always pondered on that. And it's the word all, and then the word I. Then we also know that spirit man is the embodiment of all the I's, the I am principle. So Noble Drew Ali being an adept, the next phase beyond purity, now that he's cleaned his vessel, going back to verse 31, the purity is the cleaning of our vessel. And it brings to mind that we raise children up to age 18. And if they have both a mother and father, from the perspective of how the divine intended it, as it speaks about the breast of one mother gave us suck, and we're pretty much under the guidance of our Father God Allah. So with that being said, having that one mind, that state of mind that the warning calls us back to, the state of mind of our ancestors, that perpetual union, that perfected man that needs to manifest in this physical form that we know is temporal. So John the Baptist is symbolic of the purity that prepares the way. Similar to in the Christian world, it talks about the water baptism. And in Christianity, it's taught that Jesus said, John the Baptist said, the one who comes after me, he said, I baptize you with fire, but the one who comes after me would baptize you with fire and the Holy Spirit. And we know that in Moorish science that the Holy Spirit is the holy breath of truth.
So it is just beautiful to see the acknowledgement being given towards John, who prepared the way, but it's also speaking metaphysically to each and every human being, because there is a John the Baptist in each and every one of us. There's a noble Drew Ali in each and every one of us. And what I mean by that is, in the authority, going back to the ALLI, where's the nearest place to meet Allah? In the heart. Noble Drew Ali was a profound adept in the sense that he manifests these attributes in form. Ancient being Yashua come back in form, and he manifests again these degrees. So he was able to see clearly that the people needed to be cleaned from the preparation of John the Baptist, who basically, his organization categorized the people as Negro. Noble Drew Ali had the clarity of knowing, okay, you might have prepared them great numbers, over 5 million plus people without the internet, yet they did not have a nation. They did not have a nationality. Plus John the Baptist, then Marcus Garvey, was speaking about going back to Africa over there, where in fact in Moorish science, we know that Africa is right here. So it's one thing to prepare the way by way of purity, by having a love for the people, i.e. Marcus Garvey. It's the same thing that we see with Jesus' cousin in this instance, preparing the way. So there's a difference in relationship between a cousin and a brother. And by no means am I playing down John the Baptist, but the profoundness of what is being said in the scripture, it says that the one who comes after me he is greater than I, speaking of Jesus. And in this instance, of course, it would be Noble Drew Ali. And the water baptism was said, none born of the flesh is greater than he, speaking of John the Baptist. In other words, the greatest heights that we can attain from all the gratification of anything materialistically in the physical form is still not comparable to what we can do as spirit man, from the higher self perspective, Allah in man. And when we allow ourselves now to get our nationality, know our nationality, go back to that ancient aspect and state of mind divinely of our ancestors, that perpetual union with Allah. The perpetual union, originally, the reason why Noble Drew Ali said this divine and national movement, that divinity speaks to Allah. So when we go back to that central heart perspective of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, it put our hearts right beyond just the purity of keeping our body clean with water, which is the water baptism. Because in order for us now to be baptized with the fire of truth, we would have to have cleansed ourselves completely, not looking at life from a materialistic perspective, even though we raised those 18 years by our mother and father, and we were now taught to now grow up physically. But by having parents coming to the Moorish Science, with the Moorish Science Temple, having this truth that Noble Drew Ali brings us, it just put our hearts in different places. Similar to how it says, white means purity, purity means God, God means rule of the land. So the more we purify ourselves and prepare ourselves for this truth, it just gives us a great position to basically continue the work that we see here, that Marcus Garvey prepared the way. Noble Drew Ali pretty much brought us our nationality and birthright. And as Moorish scientists, Moorish Americans, it is upon us now to continue the great work and legacy of Noble Drew Ali in accordance with Act 6. So with that, I yield the floor back to you, Deputy Sheikh Islam.
Islam, thanks for that more demonstration, more right up there. Anyone else would like exercise their vibe? Islam. Since we're on this chapter, we will take it to the Moorish literature, savior of humanity, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We'll not read all of it, just gonna read a little portion based upon what we are speaking of right now. Take it from the second paragraph, stating, come in as he does with a message for the nation in somewhat the same manner as did Yashua, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and other prophets of their day. Only the things of this prophet's day differ from the ills of the days of the past, and yet the remedy for the ills of today is about the same as the remedies for the days past. all turning about the pivot, love, love for humanity. Humanity must be lifted from the unwholesome depths of poverty, misery, and suffering, and placed on the solid rock of salvation. There are some who claim to do this, but upon investigation, one finds that they have slouched under the wings of their cross to extract from those whom come to them means by which they can have pleasures of this life, while they turn their followers to the joy after death, while they feed their sheep. They also shear them while eating. At the close of their day, the master will be heard to tell them, "You have your reward, get thee hence." Rare is it that you find a real prophet whose mission is the salvation of the nation. The land is full of false prophets whose mission is to fleece the people. The time was and now is that there has come into the land a prophet in the likeness of his brothers to redeem them from sin and slavery. Truly, this prophet noble through our lie is the man, bringing with him the message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which alone can save the nations. Like the coming of Yashua, he does not come from the elect, nor the rich, nor the mighty in the world, but worldly power, but all power is given unto him to do good. This power is from Allah. It will be his works that will make men of every nation accept the truth that he brings. It will be through his teaching that the nations of the earth will understand the will of the Master. It will be through him that peace on earth and goodwill to all men shall come. It will be through his work that humanity will be brought from the slime of life and placed on the solid rock of salvation. My prophet noble draw life. So what I just read was part of the footprint, Morris. Floor is open. Exercise the 5 more. Nothing to share, brothers.
Islam.
Islam.
This is Marcus Troy Reynolds from Connecticut Republic.
Islam. Brother Reynolds, you have the floor. Welcome.
Thank you. I'd like to rise to my highest heights, giving up perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God of the universe, Allah, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Remain standing, giving honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown. They're all around us and within us. Think about them all the time. Give us guidance, reminding us of our divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Confucius, and Buddha, and our prophet these days and time, Prophet Noble Ali in his first, second, and third form. I'd like to give honors to National Grand, Joe Bratton Bay, all the sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheiks, and all the members on the call, and everyone else. I greet you from Connecticut Republic, known as the Constitution State, where our charter was given to us. I would say when you talk about purity and love, it reminds me of our movement of divine and national. I would say coming through the temple, I started off in Christianity, knowing the Bible. I studied with Israelites United in Christ, and I guess, and going along those lines and trying to straighten myself out, I was able to find the door to the Moorish Science Temple of America, number 13, headquarters. So I try to, I believe that was part of the path, trying to purify myself a little bit and get ready. Like I've said it before on other calls, forging, when you forge a sword, you got to keep hammering it to get rid of the impurities.
And I will say that without getting on the calls, like I usually don't go on a Sunday call, and I've been trying to help with the movement, at least tell people certain things about it, and I'm starting to realize that it's a must that I be involved with the divine side to really carry the light. It would really help to have both embedded in me. It does something to your character when you read the one-on-one questions, or you go on the calls and you're around other people with like-mindedness. It gives you a sense of peace. We're taught that Islam, the last house of man, is the house of peace, and so I'll leave with that. Islam.
Islamism. Give thanks for that one, brother Reynolds. Yo. You're definitely right. Islam. 1 second, brother Ernzil. And as you said, as you said that more, the Prophet left us a divine and national movement, and that means there are two sides to the movement. One side of it is divine, the next side is a national side. Now, we have to participate in our calls as our divine constitution and bylaws teaches us to attend to our calls promptly. To understand both sides, we have to attend our Sunday school conference call, and we must attend our Holy Friday conference call, and that is the divine side of the movement. The national side, the town hall conference call, that deals with the national side of the movement. Now, for us to be in true performance on both sides, the divine side has to be achieved. Higher self have to be achieved. The climb must be continuous for us to function on the national side divinely. So, just adding to what our brother just stated, Islam, brother Ernzil, you have the floor.
Islam, can I be heard?
Islam.
Islam. Brother Herzel out of the Washington State Republic, re-rising to my highest heights and giving all great, perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God of the universe, known as Allah.
Islam, you're a little bit low.
Islam, can I be heard, brother?
Yeah.
Islam. First of all, I want to thank my two brothers that came on before me, as well as you, Deputy Chief. And I wanted to talk about the first page with the most horrific thing that can ever happen to any of us is the loss of a parent or a child or a brother or a sister or a friend. And that's when they've done their job and they must pass to the next phase of their life. And we feel disentangled, we feel destroyed almost, we feel hurt. If it's a child or a parent, sometimes we can't get past it. And that's why these teachings are so important, because that person must have done their work that they were sent to do. And they had fulfilled their task, and they had moved on. And we must let them go in peace and give them their joy and be thankful and happy that they have done what they have done. Because like I said, just let a noble life be strengthened and an inspiration unto you. With that being said, We are Allah. If you would love Allah, you would only have to love your brother and sister. And Allah would see that, and He would bless you for it. And that's what we have to start doing in this movement. Allah picks up men from everywhere, from prison, from other countries, from other poverty, wealth, all of these stations of life in which we were born into. And from those stations of life, we grow. We have to get past our ability to hate, because Allah puts everybody here with the gifts that He gave them. And we must persevere through that by showing that we have Allah's light in us. And our noble prophet came along and did everything that he did for us. He did succeed. And we know that he did succeed, and we know that he was a prophet. And he had a forerunner. And that was the harbinger, Marcus Messiah Garvey. So in chapter 16, it says, the teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, he leaves his footprint clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. Look at Noble Drew Ali. Look at his footprints. He was in a temple being chased with a knife by a member. So that tells you, if it can happen to the prophet, men are still in their lower self when the prophet was here. And they're still here today. Like Deputy Sheikh Mikhail they said, we must participate in this movement. We must be the change that we want to see. Allah has already assured us the victory. So we must move ahead. And by moving ahead and expressing Allah within us, only then will you get the payoff. Some of us will do that work. Some of us will not. But that's not for me to judge. Judge, lest ye be judged. And that's not for any man to judge. Our job here is to be forgiving souls. And Deputy Sheikh, that boat that you were talking about, we're talking about the body and the soul. So that soul is that boat that will continue, that will be untethered from this world, and that will move on to the next place. And where you will get your reward from your Heavenly Father, Allah. And with that, I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam. Islamism. Thank you for that one there. Earl Seal. Islam was. So you're a sister tonight. No sisters on the call? Floor still open, Mode. Have to learn these lessons so we miss not a blessing. Things to do. We are not trod.
Islam, Deputy Sheikh Macabre.
Islam, Raslam, Bay. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's Brother Cornelius Sanders Bay, calling out of the Lake County, Florida Republic. Just want to wish all the Muslims on the call happy holy day, happy holy night, all the Muslims all around the world, and all the Moors on the call and not able to be on the call. I just wanted to wish everyone a happy holy day, happy holy night, Jumu'ah Mubarak, Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome, brother Sanders Bay. Islam to Sanders Bay too. I don't know. She's on the level. Islam always. Islam, brother Gray Bay. How many lines we got on the call?
Islam Deputy Chief, we have 31.
Islam.
Islam, sister.
Islam. Can I be heard?
You can be heard. You're a little bit low, but yes, you can.
Let me try this. How about now?
Islam.
Okay. Islam. This is Nadesh Joseph from Quebec Republic. I want to wish everybody, all the Moors on the call and around the world, a happy holy night and holy day. Islam.
Islam, Sister Joseph, welcome to Holy Night God. Peace and blessing be with you. Islam.
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 Islam. Brother A.D. Woodbush Bay. Love to give praises to Allah, Father of the universe. Honors to the beloved Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to Marcus Garvey. Honors to all the Grand Sheiks, Grand Sheik on Mr. Braden Bay, Assistant Grand Sheiks, Chairman. Honors that was previously given. Love to get honors to John the Baptist on this divine ministry of death. When I first came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, it was like one of my chapters that really grabbed a hold of me, because when my father had passed, I could just drift off and just recall him giving me, the Holy Koran, and I didn't know too much about it. I didn't catch it, but finally when I did, it was like one of my chapters that I had to really just grab a hold of and just get the mind frame of thinking and knowing that what the prophet brought us, that it would save us, because this is the saving power within. Think to save yourself. You can't save the flesh because it must return back from the source which it came. You can't save the soul. It must return from which it came. But if you're willing and wants to, and you claim and you want to be with the great God, the Most High, be back at one with Him, that's when you will be saved. When you're at one with Him, you're safe. You're good. You got a happy face. He got a happy face. He know what you want. He know man love the flesh. He know that. But first, in order to get what you want, you have to get where you need to be at. So this divine ministry in death that, even the purity made manifest had to share a tear. John the Baptist had to share a tear just because his mother had passed, and, just imagine someone pure and understanding about life that had to share a tear, So the Most High know we love the flesh. He know that. But our duty is to get back at one with Him. That's our duty. And this chapter really enlightened us about the power that John the Baptist had. And we can say to ourselves, man, if this man can share a tear and then chop it up and be back and be like, man, this is just that death part. Like, many of us see, like the brother said, that when we go to funerals, we'll be crying. We might lose a mother, a son, a grandmother. And many people don't have this understanding. Like, when I go to funerals, I don't even cry no more. I'll be like, man, I just be like trying to talk to their souls, you know what I'm saying? And just relating. People just be staring at me like, what's this guy doing? You know what I'm saying? Because they finished their journey. They're going somewhere else now. Because we know that man is nor the body nor the soul. He's a spirit. He's a part of the Most High. See, the prophet brought us that divine information. Like the brother said, we might have to learn this while we're in prison. We might have to learn this just coming up into the Moorish Science Temple as baby, or just getting when we 30, 40, maybe 50. But we still got it. And we got this understanding to know that there's a higher place that we got to go. You know what I'm saying? Some trials and tribulations we must go through, many folds, many times, as the Most High asks, ain't life tiresome? Ain't you tired of keep coming back to this earth? When you going to get it right, So we know we have to get it right to be back with the Most High. We see what's going on in the world today, Ezekiel, like, y'all better get it right, and the prophet and Noble Drew Ali and the Fort Runners, they did their work. Now it's up to us to get this holy and divine instructions and study it and examine them and go get some information from here, there, and everywhere. These 18 lessons is something we need to study to save ourselves, to know thyself, to save ourselves, and better yet, we have to go back and study ourselves because we ain't at one with the Most High. When we get there with just the thoughts, that's a whole nother journey. Because that's why we in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? They study, exercise your thoughts. Think about it. Was it premeditated or you just went and did it? You didn't think about it before you done it? So this is just a magnificent chapter, for all those that love the prophet and desire to know more about his life, works, and teachings, here it is. You want to learn more about it, get these lessons. You don't understand it, you can always talk to someone that do understand it. Certain little parts I don't even understand. Prophet said if you ain't careful, it'll take you another 50 years to realize what I brought you. So that means we got to study, study, study. All is well, Moors. Peace and love and peace.
Islamism. Thanks, brother, in Muslim. Yeah, man. There's no thing called death. Oh, yeah. And as we reflect on chapter 2, coming from the divine instruction from our Holy Prophet, education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zoan, Egypt, where it tells that, speaks of the harbinger and Yashua representing purity and love. And when we go into chapter 3, verse 16,
say something.
It speaks, Christ blesses the man who has made purity and love his own. So in chapter 2, we have Yahya and Yashua representing, one representing purity, the other representing love. Chapter 3 telling us Christ blessed is the man who has made purity and love his own. So the two things the harbinger and Yashua brought, we have to embrace that and claim that he has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and himself, his higher self. So death is an illusion. Floor is still open for Islamism.
Marcus Troy Reynolds, we rising to my highest heights. Give my perfect praise to Mother, Father, God, the universe, Allah. I would, I believe it was 2015. my great-grandfather passed away. No, not my great-grandfather. My grandfather and my grandmother. She passed away first. He passed away a week after. They raised me. They opened up the Pilgrim's Way Baptist Church. I lost my mind. I'm a Gulf War veteran, and throughout my life, they've always prayed for me. And once they were gone, it was like that which spoke to God to keep me alive disappeared also. But it made me turn more to God, and be more about God, more about spirituality, more about not spirituality, more about His Word, and getting His good blessing. And I guess put myself in my grandfather's shoes, because I was, I'm the next one in line, so I had to step up, and to the best of my ability. And if you look, it says here, give me a second. Then let your mother rest in peace, number 7, which is a significant number. Let your mother rest in peace. Just let her noble life be strength and inspiration unto you. And that's what they were for me. A crisis in your life has come, and you must have a clear conception of the work that you are called to do. We're in the middle of Black Lives Matter. We're in the middle of the Ferguson, and I saw, what was it, Lost Tribes of Israel. I kind of tied into that. And it says over here, the sages of the ages call you the hairbringer. The prophets look to you and say, he is Elijah come again. Your mission here is that of a hairbringer, for you will go before the Messiah's face to pave his way and make the people ready to receive the king. This readiness is purity of heart. None but the pure in heart can recognize the king. To teach men to be pure in heart, you must yourself be pure in heart and word and deed. In infancy, the vow for you, and I don't want to go there, okay. Now, so basically, you gotta let life go sometimes. You gotta understand that, yeah, you too, you're gonna have to realize that it's gonna come to that day when you're not gonna be here anymore. So with that being said, what do you want to do with the time that you're here? So you need to clean up your act, purify yourself, and have your attention on your intentions. And if us that know the Father, or us that truly believe that the Father did exist, I believe we're the ones that found this door to be naturalized by studying the law, studying the Bible, and studying certain things and getting us here. And I'm going to end it with that. Islam?
Islam, man. Thanks for your inspiration.
Islam? Islam, Deputy Sheikh, it's Brother Hernsdale out of the Washington State Republic. Sorry for cutting you off.
Islam, yeah, for sure.
Islam, my brother, thank you. I wanted to go to Exodus 32, verse 9, where the Most High talks to Moses. And this is what he said. The Lord said to Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, they are a stiff-necked, stubborn, rebellious people. Now therefore, let me alone and do not interfere, so that my anger may burn against them, and that I may destroy them. And I will make of you and your descendants a great nation. And that takes me over to chapter 14 in the chapter that we're reading tonight, to verse 14, where it says, men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. So what do we do with our brothers that try not to follow, but to lead? When you lead, you get torn down. You get ate up. You get misidentified. Slander. But I am Allah. And if you love Allah, you would love me. So if you love Allah, you would love your brothers and your sisters. You would treat them as you do yourself. The prophet did a mighty job in this movement. He gave us the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he gave us the ability to do business as the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13. He gave us a state, the Moorish American National Republic. All we have to do is what the prophet said. He was holding the Circle 7, and he was holding the 101 question. And he said, Moors, I have given you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourselves. We must do a reunification of ourselves to learn to love our brothers and sisters and not hate. Because when you hate, you're showing that you hate Allah, not showing that you hate your brothers and sisters. You have to practice those things that will make you better in the kingdom, but you have to practice them on earth. Like the brother spoke earlier, and he said, men learn in prison. There's a lot of walks of life, places in life that you learn these lessons. Some of us wake up at 30, some of us wake up in our 40s, some of us wake up in our 50s, some of us wake up in our 60s. But when you do wake up, and you really wake up, not by becoming a Moor, but when you really wake up, you're going to feel a lot of pain and a lot of sadness from the acts and the actions that you have done from your hands and your mouth. So we must be mindful of these things. And we must turn, like Brother Marcus Reynolds said, turn to anew and practice those things that save and not those things that destroy. We must lead. And if we don't feel that we can lead, we must follow. In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. And with that, I yield the floor, Deputy Sheikh. Islam.
Islam. And you know your God, you know your brother. Islam, Divine Minister, Raya Hamayahil, Holy Manuelai, Shabbat Shalom, of the Holy Creation, dear more.
Give the praises. Thank you, Deputy Sheikh. Giving honor, all honor, giving all thanks and praises to Allah, all honor to all the prophets, and all honors to my brothers and sisters on our Holy Night Call, National Holy Night Call this Friday evening. Shabbat Shalom, Jummah Mubarak, blessed Holy Night. Yes, Moors, giving thanks, giving thanks, giving thanks. The chapter is a divine chapter, and listening to the Moors rolling straight from Brother Douglas on down is who I heard. We're on the point of divine chapter for a divine instruction. It does tell us to teach men. I'll put it like this: to teach men to be, you must yourself be whatever it is you're going to teach. In this case, it says pure in heart. So then it tells you, so you must be yourself pure in heart, in word and deed. Then as Brother Hernziel said, it says men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. So when we hear our Moors saying participate, is because most of us are accustomed to following and not leading. Most of us wait for someone to take the lead because sometimes we're afraid we may be wrong. Sometimes we're conscious about someone speaking about us or saying this or that about us. So there are various reasons that we often don't take the lead. But look at this and look closely, my brothers and sisters. It tells us to teach, we must be. And then verse 15 tells us that the man who stands upon the path and points but does not go is a pointer. A block of wood can do the same. 16 tells us that the teacher treads the way on every span of ground, leaving footprints clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. So You know, a lot of times we come on these calls, and some of us don't come on these calls to say anything. But I want us to understand the difference between preaching and teaching. When we talk, that's preaching. When we do, that's teaching. So that here in the Moorish Science Temple, we don't really preach. Here in the Moorish Science Temple, Divine National Movement, North American Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic, we teach. We teach. Why do we teach? Because we teach that which we are. We strive to be what? Upright, fearless, and independent. We strive to be pure in heart, in word, and deed. We strive consciously to love and not to hate. We establish a pattern that our brothers and sisters can see and that they can follow. This is the teaching. If we just get on this line and just say, oh, we do this and they give out blah, blah, then you're preaching. Now, it's true, as teachers here in the Moorish Science Temple, we have to be teachers, but we're not preachers. We are teachers. We lead the way. We leave our footprints clearly cut so others can see that this is the way we went. Why? Because we're following the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. Alhamdulillah. The chapter is profound as it speaks on divine ministry. Hey, all this are our lessons, and I enjoy listening to the family as you share on this particular chapter. It is true. We have to learn to release our beloveds when they pass the form. Even many years ago, when my grandmother passed on, one of my daughters was 14 at the time, and she came to me and asked, well, why aren't you crying? Everyone around was crying. And I conveyed this lesson to her again. And she understood that we have to let go of our loved ones, keep them in the heart, keep them in the mind, keep them in the spirit. There's a proverb that says, bury my bones, but keep my words. As long as we keep the righteous words of our righteous ancestors. Because remember, all of our ancestors weren't righteous. If they were, we wouldn't be in this condition. So all of our ancestors, some of our ancestors aren't due honor. Some of them are not due honor because they didn't do that which was righteous for our people, for the salvation of our people. But nonetheless, I just wanted to check in more. So I'm not going to take a lot of time because I know we're running out of time. We're coming close to the time to close. But I did want to make my presence known, and I thank you all for being with us. I also want to remind you all that when the clock changed, we changed our Holy Night call to 9 p.m. Why do we do that? Well, one thing, it facilitates my presence, but also because when they change it at 9, it's really 8. They changed the clock. They didn't change the time. They can't make the sun rise any earlier. They can't make it set any sooner. They can't stop the revolution of the earth or the rotation of the earth on its axis. They cannot affect time. They can only affect the illusion that they have on us. So we will be having our Holy Night call, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Please mark that as we go forward more. Hopefully this will also allow our Grand Chief some time to visit us during that 9 p.m. time, because most of the time, 8 to 10, he's in Baltimore. So starting next Friday, please be aware, 9 p.m. we'll start our Holy Night call, 9 p.m. Eastern. That means 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and is that right? 6. Is that right? Yeah, 6 p.m. I think that's, excuse me. Yes, 9, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6. So that's 6 p.m. West Pacific time. But 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll start our Holy Night call until they change the clock again. Giving thanks and praises to the Most High. I won't take a lot of time, Moses. Just be mindful that we are the teachers, not preachers. Let's not be the block of wood standing on the corner saying you go that way. Let them see from the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we carry ourselves, the way we participate in these calls. Don't be shy, Morris. This is where you sharpen your stone. This is where you sharpen your sword. This is where you really get the opportunity to figure some things out before you have to go out to the world and those things come to you through a European face. And they will. And they will. So love you much. Love you much. Please remember that we'll be here together next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And please join us Sunday for Sunday school. 11. So now it's now 12 noon Eastern time. And of course, our call is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Town Hall call. So please do join us. And members attend your meetings. This is how we become the teachers. And we move away from being preachers. And you will become that preacher, teacher. Love you more. Give the floor back to you, Deputy Chief. You're doing a splendid job tonight. Thank you more. Peace.
Islam. Love you more. And as you said, we don't preach because it's not a church. Moorish Science Temple, the MANR National Movement, Conference number 13, Moorish American National Republic. The only place, Islam, 1 second, is the only place where everyone has a voice if they choose to exercise their five senses. Go ahead, Mo.
Islam Grand Sheikh, how are you?
Deputy Sheikh.
Deputy Sheikh, sorry, Deputy Sheikh. My name is Joseph Yashua from Quebec Republic. I'd like to wish everyone, every Mo and everyone who's a Muslim a holy night, good holy night. And I'd like to see with you if it's possible for me to read something to everyone.
You have the floor, More. You have the floor, More.
All right. Okay. I'd like to read something that says the coincidences of life. It shows us about our something to do with higher self and lower self. Okay. I'll start. These are letters that are in the English language, and they're quite the exact opposite of each other. Like the church has 6 letters, so does the mosque. The Bible has 5 letters, so does the Koran. Life has 4 letters, so does dead. Knowledge has 9 letters, so does ignorance. Enemies has 7 letters, so does friends. Lying has 5 letters, so does truth. Heart has 4 letters, so does heal. Negative has 8 letters, so does positive. Failure has 7 letters, so does success. Below has 5 letters, so does above. Cry has 3 letters, so does joy. Anger has 5 letters, so does happy. Right has 5 letters, so does wrong. Rich has 4 letters, so does poor. Failure has 4 letters. Fail has 4 letters, so does pass. Hate has 4 letters, so does love. Are they all coincidences? We should choose wisely. This means life is a double-edged sword. If you think that it is your alarm clock that woke you up this morning, try putting it beside a dead body and you'll realize that it is the grace of the great architect of the universe, Allah, that woke you up. In life, whatever you really want will never come so easy. Like a child learning to walk, the skills are achieved mostly through diligent practice. So learning is a ladder of process. We don't learn to walk by following rules. Henceforth, we learn by doing and falling over. Islam Mos, thank you for listening.
Islam, thank you very much. Positive, higher self, lower self, which one you choose? You have to go to mar yourself or be the best that you could be. Or you choose the illusion of the world or the truth. Yes. Islam Mos, thank you for your participation. Any guests on the like to exercise their 5 senses, say anything before we start closing out? Well,
Islam.
Islam.
The Sheikh. Brother George.
How are you?
Brother George, Quebec Republic. I like to rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God, Allah, and to our Prophet, Noble Jawali, and to all sheikhs and sheikesses of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. I just like to exercise my 5 on this chapter. As I've been listening to everyone, and I've been going through the verses, and this is such a powerful chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 9.
Islam. Brother Georgia, hold on a minute, please.
Islam.
Brother, thank you. Brother Jeffrey Sheik. If we started at 8, it's very close to our time to close.
Oh, okay. Islam. So I yield to...
Brother Georgia, hold on a minute now. So let us close out, and Brother Georgia will come back to the floor just after we officially close. We can continue the call and the conversation. We just want to be close to what we're supposed to do. Is that all right with you, Mo?
Islam.
Thank you, Mo. You have the floor as soon as we close. Brother Deputy Chief, please. Islam.
Islam, or give thanks. Yes. Anyway, as we close, we meet here every Friday, and as said, coming week we'll meet at 9 p.m. Eastern clock, the change of clock for our Holy Friday call. On Sunday at noon, we have our Sunday school conference call, and that call and our Holy Friday call, same number, 443-961-4434. Again, 443-961-4434. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have our town hall conference call where we speak to the policy of freedom and emancipation proclamation, including the 13th Amendment with its 20th section. Our Moorish American School of Law and History is in session. Beat known course. I think you have time to join, and you could go to the website Moorish American National Republic.com. That's the resource pad. You can either use the citizenship application or the Moorish American School of Law and History link, and we'll see you in class. The members forum is on a Wednesday. All members who are naturalized members and want to attend, send an email to webmaster@MorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com, include your name as shown as your identification card, phone number, and a copy of your identification card. Sisters Auxiliary meets on every 4th Thursday. Sisters 1 and 2 Auxiliary 13, number 13 at gmail.com. Include your name shown on your documentation, phone number, email, It's different from the one used. Young Man Business League is a call every third Thursday. Brothers in good standing want to participate, send an email to youngmanbusinessleague@gmail.com. Is there any national official with any announcements? Islam?
Islam?
Islamism.
Islam.
A young bear. Greetings.
Islam. How's the brother?
Peaceful, more. Yourself?
All is well, man. All is well. This is Sheikh Youngbae, Lawrence Youngbae, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of North Carolina Republic. Before I get into announcements, we were present tonight, Mo, but we came on the line about 9 o'clock, thinking it was 9 o'clock, and it may have been an error on my behalf. Islam, but we were here. First, I rise giving all perfect praise to Allah, to all our ancestors, some we know of, some we don't, to our true and divine prophets, just to name a few, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Ali, the first, the second, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Ali, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Chief Joe Burton Bay, to the Sikhs, Deputy Sikhs, and Deputy Sikhs, brothers and sisters and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you with love and peace. I love you all. Islam, which means peace, which means Islam, Islam, Islam. This administrative announcement is to the members. When mailing your dues, please include your dues card with a photocopy of your dues card. In the upper right-hand corner of your dues card, you will see the letters DON and a blank line, which stands for the date of naturalization. Write the date of your naturalization on that line. If DON is not there, you write it in the right-hand corner anyway. And be sure you write it up and write it legible, and make 2 copies. Keep 1 copy home for your record, and include the month and year you are paying your dues. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note when you mail your dues card. This is so we can update and mark your records correctly. This concludes my ministerial announcement for the Moorish Science Temple for Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, Moorish American National Republic. I turn it back to the hands of the moderator, Deputy Sheikh Makal Bey. Thanks for the time, brother.
Islam.
Islam.
Divine ordained by the Prophet Noble Allah. Prophet warns all Muslims. Governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at the Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or a group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their speed. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophets. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet's noble Jew Allah. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people by order of Prophet Noble Drew I as we close, we will attend to our Holy Covenant, chapter 25. Star, unmute your phones and assist me in salutation. So, Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. And we recite in the first person, we are the children of one Father, provided for by his care.
We are the children of one Father, provided for by his care.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
Let the bonds of affection, therefore.
Let the bonds of affection, therefore.
Unite us with our brothers and sisters.
Unite us with our brothers and sisters.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
And when we separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth us to love and unity.
Remember the relation to
love and unity.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
And prefer not
a stranger before our own blood.
Our own blood.
If our brother is in adversity, assist him.
Assist him.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
Take her not.
So shall the fortunes of our Father contribute to the support of his whole race.
Contribute to the support of his whole race.
And this care be continued to us all.
And his care
be continued
to us all.
In our love to each other.
In our love to each other.
Yes.
Islam. Love and purity. Let us make it a part of ourselves and claim it, Mos. I love you, Mos. Thank you for being a part of our Holy Friday conference call. and peace return. And as we close as we began with our Moorish American prayer. So at this time, asking all who is able to stand erect in the Moorish American posture, feet at a 45-degree angle, arms in the air, 5 fingers on the left side, 2 fingers on the right, keeping them tight for the love of unity. Islam is Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, with holy prophet, through our life. Amen. Islam always give thanks, may Allah bless us all. Going and coming in from this day forth even. All right, for more. See you.